Welcome back to Camps and Cranks. Today we've got something a little bit different. We're going to be talking to a fellow rider and a content creator, AD Bikelife. We're diving into what got him into bikes, his wildest rides, his dream machines, and what's going on behind the scenes of his YouTube channel.
Thank you for the intro, Harry.
So yeah, I'm AD Bikelife, and so I never thought I would ever become a content creator, by the way, but I became a content creator last October, and I started doing TikTok lives. There's a bit of a story as to why I started doing that, actually, which we'll probably get into later, but yeah, and it just grew and grew and grew, and then we sort of formed this core group of people within the TikTok lives, of which Harry became one of them, and it just got more and more popular. And then I started doing stuff on YouTube as well, but again, that's a different story because YouTube is a little bit more difficult to build as a platform. But yeah, so all about bikes. I've been riding bikes. I think I first rode a motorized bike when I was like 11 years old. And yeah, I just loved bikes ever since.
It's fantastic. Yeah, really appreciate you joining us. It's
love it. Yeah, it's been brilliant.
It's awesome to actually have the date finally arranged, and we're here. So, how long have you actually been riding?
So 11 years old. I first rode a not very legal moped around a sports field.
Like a mini moto or like a 50cc, like a moped?
50cc moped.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ.
I'll tell you the very brief version of that story. So myself and my cousin were walking across this sports field. It was one of the places we used to hang out. And our other cousin, who was a bit older, came whizzing onto this sports field on this moped. Let's just say it wasn't his. And I was 11 years old. I didn't know any better. And so my cousin Steve had a go on it, and he sort of went around the sports field a few times. And they said, do you want to go? I'm like, yeah. And I sort of knew I had to pull the throttle back. I knew that much.
Right.
So I jumped on and I did that. And then before I did a couple of laps of the field, and then I remember having to shout across to my cousins, how do I stop?
Yeah.
And I managed to bring it to a stop, and I got I remember getting off, and I burnt my leg on the engine as I was getting off.
So it wasn't like a moped. It was it a geared bike?
It was it was like a little rev and rip.
Oh,
like
yeah. Oh, okay.
I can't even remember. I just remember it was blue and probably very crap. Yeah. Yeah. But but that was the first time I ever rode a bike, and then over my sort of teenage years, I did a little bit of off-road riding, just playing around.
Yeah.
And then once I joined the army, I managed to get my bike license, and then I joined the enduro team. So I used to race enduro. Had a couple of road bikes over the years as well, when I was living in Germany. And then when I got back to the UK, I did plan on getting another bike because I sold my last bike before I moved back to the UK. But that didn't happen. Let's say there was an ex-wife involved, and then when she became my ex-wife, I then got another bike, and I've had another bike since. So the last sort of 4 or 5 years. Okay. But yeah, I think in total probably I've had my license 23 years.
Yeah.
But in total, I had on and off quite a few years before that.
Oh, cracking.
Yeah.
Would you say like that first experience with you on a bike in that field, burning your leg on the on the manifold and stuff, would you say that's where the bug bit you? Like,
do you know what? And somebody's asked me this before. I actually don't know.
No.
I think I've always really been attracted to bikes, and I don't know why. Even when you're very little and you're playing with toy motorbikes, there's just something about motorbikes. And I don't know whether or not you guys remember, there was not motorbike specifically, but there was a film back in the 80s called BMX Bandits. I don't know if you ever remember that.
I haven't seen that one.
I'm showing my age now.
We're 90s kids. I don't think we've been around for that.
And I remember being obsessed with, even though they weren't motorbikes, but the stunts and riding those BMXs. So I was always into riding push bikes and trying to find jumps and big hills to ride down. And so, yeah, I guess that was a natural progression to then get into riding motorbikes.
Oh, fantastic.
So that does tie in sort of with the the previous question, but was there any early influences? Like, did you watch MotoGP or any motocross coverage? Or?
My dad had motorbikes on and off over the years, but he wasn't necessarily a bike enthusiast. He did like bikes, but his bikes were more a necessity to get to work and back. But I remember being a kid and, you know, sort of squeezed into the front door was this, I can't even remember what it was, some old bike, and I remember being obsessed with it. And then I do remember I was probably about 16 years old, and he ended up buying a CB90, you know, the Honda CB90s.
Oh, yes.
And while my mum and dad were out one Friday evening in the summer, so it was still light, I actually took it into the back garden and started riding it around the back garden. But yeah, so and my uncle was sort of a Hell's Angel type biker.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, there's always been a little bit of motorcycle influence in the family, but not a massive amount really.
Just enough to sort of get you into it, to see it a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you ever have any influences like?
So I had that little bike. So it was a little 50cc dirt bike. It's still going. I think my dad said it was £200. And I used to ride that. He's still got it. My son rides it now.
Right. Yeah.
It's just fitting some new wheels on it and things at the moment. But yeah, so I used to ride around my uncle's field. He had like I think it was a couple of acres. He just used to ride round, and he had like some big 500cc single pot motocross bikes, and
wow.
His son had or his grandkids, they were into motocross, so they actually raced and things. So I used to do that, and then after I sort of went to secondary school, that was it. I didn't really do a lot. I went to school, went to college, and ended up having kids, so I didn't really get any motorbikes until this year.
Did you ever try and kickstart a 500cc motorcycle?
No, my uncle said he nearly
Proper
snapped his leg a few times.
Yeah.
He said there's a trick to it if you do it wrong.
Yeah.
I was like, it's probably worth putting an electric start on them, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know that my dad always had. There always seemed to be a bike in the drive, sort of thing. So the first bike I can remember him ever having was his GSXR 1100. That was like metallic silver, metallic blue wheels, beautiful bike, lovely thing. And now, sort of like the collection has grown. He's got loads of stuff in their front garden.
Right.
Yeah, they've got like a Ninja 400. He's just done a tour like you did. You went to Europe.
Yeah.
So he went in early June.
Right.
And did he went down through like Spain and stuff like that.
Okay.
So he went through France and did this whole tour, and he did that with my uncle and my cousin as well. So they had like BMW, whatever they are, GS's, and he had his Honda CR.
Yeah.
I don't even know what one it is. Maybe it's a CRF something. It's 1,000 cc, but it's like.
See, I feel really guilty now because I've just done a motovlog, which I think it's yet to be uploaded. Or have I uploaded it? I don't know. And I've been talking about GS's, not in the best light.
Oh really?
Yeah. But I gave quite a balanced view of them.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of banter, isn't there, between different genres of bikes.
It always used to be Harleys. That used to be the sports bikes and Harleys hating each other.
Yeah. 100%. He actually just bought one of the GS 800s off of my cousin. And he's trying that out. I think he's trying to do some like trials types, not trial stuff, like adventure bike, more adventure bike stuff. He wants to, more like green lane and stuff, and trying to take it off road, and he's going to fit some more like knobbly tires to it.
I mean, they're purpose built, aren't they? They're a tool. It's just that, and I think I was saying on this motovlog when I was talking about them that despite the banter and the humour and the rivalry. Between, say, GS riders, adventure riders, and sports bike riders. If I was going to do a very long distance tour, like what Baron von Grumble did, the GS is the perfect weapon for it. It's the perfect machine for it. So they definitely have a place, and I do understand why people like them. I don't find them attractive.
There's a sentiment, especially in like your group chat, about adventure riders not nodding. So a lot of sports bike riders nod at them and they don't get anything back, so they're like, oh well. They get a bit of dislike that way, but I quite like. I'm part of me wants to own a sports bike, and then a smaller part would love to go green lane in as well. I think if I get to a point where I can have a second bike, that'll be eventually. Hopefully, I'll get a second bike and it'll be something off-road capable.
So, like, when you first started riding, what was... Oh, sorry. I forgot about this thing for a second. So, like, when you first started riding, what was the sort of the first things you noticed, like, oh, God, got to keep my eyes out for this. I didn't realise that this would be, like, a thing to keep my eye out. Because your first bike was...
My first road legal bike.
The road legal one.
Was a Honda VT 750.
Okay.
It was like a cruiser style. And that was from my uncle's influence and my dad's influence, who liked that style of bike as well. So I had that for a couple of years. I don't really know. I think because I'd been riding off-road for a while before that anyway, I didn't really have any hang-ups about riding. There was nothing particular, except the one thing really that has always stuck in my mind is keeping your eyes up, just looking where you want to go. I mean, it's something that people say a lot, but unless you sort of teach yourself to consciously do it, whether you're riding off-road or on the road, the principle applies. The bike will go where your eyes go. And I remember when I used to race off-road, for whatever reason, I used to have to remind myself to, hang on a minute, no, look up.
Yeah.
Especially when you get tired as well, because your eyes drop, your head drops because you get tired, and then target fixation sets in. Yeah, you
start looking at closer and closer on the road instead of actually at the horizon where you want to go, and like looking at where the road is taking you. But like I think some people like very much like struggle with target fixation. Some people struggle with confidence, especially around cars on the road as well. Stuff like cars not looking out for you and stuff like that. So I guess like target fixation is a big one, and you see a lot of examples of that where people just kind of like zoom into a corner and then they're just in the grass before you know it.
I don't want to hit that village, and they're looking at it and they end up in it anyway. So
exactly.
But what about you, Harry? Like, what sticks in your mind? What's the biggest maybe learning point for you?
The biggest learning point was the first ride out. I had a car pull out in front of me. They didn't even look in the direction I was in, so I don't think it was necessarily just because I was on a bike. If it was a car, they would have done it anyway. But it's just, you feel more exposed. Like the first time you're like on a dual carriageway and a lorry's next to you, or you're overtaking a lorry, you feel so small. And then my bike is only a 125, so it doesn't have too much power. So I've only ever had the back wheel skip out once, and that was wet. Wet riding, I'd say. It's just as soon as it starts raining, or it's rained recently, and you can see there's a film on the road, you do. Like, oh, I'm a lot more vulnerable in this weather than I am in a car.
But this is where off-road riding can really help, right? Getting used to the bike moving around underneath you and losing traction, and it's definitely, it could be invaluable to get some off-road training. I
mean, so I didn't talk about sort of bike experience. It wasn't motorbikes, but I used to do a lot of mountain biking. We went to this place near us where there's a quarry, and they turned it into a bike thing. So you used to go off like down the quarry face and do jumps and do downhill tracks and things.
Where was that?
North Nibley. So it's near where I live. It's sort of between me and Max, and there's a monument there, and there's a quarry that they made to build the monument, and they've turned that into a downhill track. So that was great, and that did help when it comes to like balancing a bike, because even though it's not a motorbike, the like counter steering is all the same when you're moving that fast, and you feel the tyres skipping out or lock up the front wheel. So you do learn a little bit just by being on a push bike.
Absolutely, the principles are all the same.
It's just learning clutch control and stuff like that. That's the difference.
I'd probably go as far to say like push bikes probably the thing that got me into motorbikes. Because my parents moved out into the sticks when I was quite relatively young. I was probably like 11, something like that. Not super young, but like still. And the only way I could get anywhere independently was by jumping on the push bike and taking it along the road to go see friends and stuff like that. And then as soon as I turned 16, it was like, finally I can get a motor in this thing and I can whiz up the road. Brilliant, this is fantastic.
Break a sweat.
Exactly, I don't get sweaty when I get there. It's fantastic. I can go more than 20 mile an hour, only just on a little 50cc.
Did you ever tie like playing cards to your rear wheel to bounce on the spoke?
Oh yeah. 100%. Yeah, I did that definitely quite a few times as well.
We used to do it with the old plastic drinks cartons. Brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic. But
the imagination of a kid, eh?
I
can remember my first moped, and I only ever had 2 mopeds, and then that was pretty much it for me. But like the first one I had was a 2-stroke, and that thing broke down every single month without fail. It was not reliable in getting me anywhere. It would take me to college one day and then wouldn't get back. Or I wouldn't get to college at all, and I would just have to leave it somewhere, and wait for the garage to come pick it up. That thing lasted like 6 months, and then I got fed up of it.
Did you learn a lot from that though? Like, did you? Because obviously, and we'll probably get into it, right? You guys have built the pit bike, and you've got another project coming up. Did that experience teach you a lot about fixing your own bike?
I at the time, so I was not very mechanically competent at all at that point. Like everything that I'd done through school and college was completely irrelevant to anything mechanical. So I was completely averse to any of that stuff. I was just like, it's broke again. Send it back, and
pay someone to do it.
Something will happen, and it was covered under warranty, that bike, so I was very lucky. But ironically, I think that was like a Taiwanese make of bike, and I can't remember the brand of it. Right. But the next bike I got was like half the cost of that one, and it was Chinese, and that thing was solid. Right. Yeah. And it worked every day without fail. I had a spill in a Tesco car park on it. Still got it up, and the thing was. Of course, the thing's carbureted, and so you have to sit there for a while with your thumb on the starter to clear out because it was flooded. And but it still started eventually, and I managed to ride it home afterwards. That thing was brilliant, and I think the only thing that ever happened bad to it was I think that the lights got stuck on.
Right. Okay.
It's not exactly the worst thing in the world. Like you just couldn't turn the lights off. Like I think the full beam worked and all that sort of stuff. But the switch literally like rusted in place. Yeah. Couldn't do anything else with it. But they were brilliant bikes. They were brilliant. And then typical, as soon as I get the driving license to drive a car, and then it was like, well. I'm at college. I drive a car. I'm warm,
dry. Listen to my music.
I can go faster than 28 mile an hour. And I think from then I didn't manage to make it back onto a bike after that, which is really sad. Because then like a few years ago was when I had my license taken, so that wasn't for driving. It wasn't for anything like that. I was not reckless or anything. It was it's actually more related to my eyesight. So DVLA just decided you can't drive.
Oh really?
No, and they were like, your eyesight's shit, mate. You can't drive. So unfortunately I never got back on a bike, and so it's a real shame, but I do look forward to riding that pit bike around a field, because whilst my eyes are still alright to do that, I will 100% be ripping that thing around a field. 100%.
Well, it's much more fun than filtering through traffic, isn't it?
Exactly.
Some jumps.
Yeah, as fun as it is to be on the road sometimes, I think it is actually quite good fun to be on the road sometimes, just like you get proper corners. Stuff that you don't get in a field.
It's more grip.
And
cornering, isn't it,
and you get to ride road bikes as well. Riding those off road is not going to be a good time. You're not going to have fun. So I mean, but either way. So I think, 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 I if you already done the bikes you owned over the years, I think you did sort of briefly cover it.
I've mentioned the first one. So the Honda VT750, I had that for a couple of years, crashed it, completely my fault. I went into the back of a car, ended up on the other side of the road, and then I bought the Kawasaki Z750. So do you remember you were chatting about the Z1000 this morning with a quad exhaust pipe?
Yes.
Well, I had the 750 version of that. It didn't have quad exhaust pipes, just had a single pipe. In bright orange as well.
Oh, brilliant.
So it was, and that was a proper hooligan bike. And I bought that new in 2006 while I was in Germany. And it was before Kawasaki started making them ugly. So, and all the bike manufacturers have done this over the years, especially with naked bikes. They've made them look like aliens, bulky angles everywhere. But this one still had nice, clean, sporty, sort of sharp lines to it. Absolutely loved it. Had that for a couple of years, crashed it. And then I sold it before I moved back to the UK. I should have bought it back to the UK. I wish I had done. But it was a European spec bike, and I would have had to have imported it. But yeah, I did. So I sold it. And then the first bike I got in the UK was a CBR 600 RR.
Oh, nice.
Had that for a month and a half, and then I upgraded to the Fireblade. Yeah. I had the 2008 Fireblade for, I think, was it a year? 2 years? No, 2 years. And then I swapped it for the 2009 Repsol that I've got now.
Nice.
But yeah, so, and then I've ridden loads of other bikes in between that as well. But yeah, those are the bikes that I've owned.
Oh, brilliant. The thing I love about those 600s, the CBR 600s that you had, is that under the seat exhaust situation. I think that's brilliant. It really cleans up the lines of the bike. It absolutely, and
it was iconic. And Kawasaki did the same for a while. Yamaha did, but they got sort of two exhausts, the R1 sort of underneath the seat.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, the Honda was just, it was such a beautiful bike when it came out. Looks a bit dated now, I think, but when it came out, it was awesome, stunning.
Yeah, they're great bikes. They are fantastic. We haven't got much of a bike history.
I've only got my little YS125, which AD's already interviewed me about, and I get on well with it. It's just, it's a starter bike, so it's not the fastest. It's got tiny little tyres, which is the biggest issue with it I have. And then I'm just excited to get my next bike. So at the moment I've only got one bike on
it's a stepping stone though, right?
It is, so
and you've got the right attitude about it, because like so many people, especially when I do the TikTok lives, so many people ask silly questions like, is an R1 a great starter bike? And it's like someone wants to get their bike license and jump straight onto a big super fast sports bike, and it's like, no. But I think you recognise that it's a stepping stone. It gets you like a year's experience on the road. It gets you from A to B. It is what it is, and you can either choose to enjoy it or not. And like you say, when I was chatting to your dad this morning, and he's done the same or similar bike, but it's the right way to go about it, isn't it? At the end of the day.
It's another thing is like, I've always wanted a bike, but I didn't know if I'd actually enjoy it if it was raining or riding it to work. So I was like, if I get a CVT, it's not much investment, and I can see if I like it. And so far, I definitely want a bigger bike now.
And what's next? No, let me rephrase that actually. What would you like to be next?
What I'd like to be next is a 600 sports bike, but R6 or CBR 600. But at the moment, I did an insurance quote. It was about £1,800, £1,600. So so we'll see what it's like next year when I pass my fillet. But at the moment, it's looking more. That'll have to be a 650, which is obviously, it's a bigger engine bike, but it's detuned. So it's much cheaper on insurance. But I will still push for the bike I want.
Absolutely. What about yourself, Max? Like if you obviously you can't because you're licensed, but what would you, if you could go out and buy a bike tomorrow? Realistically speaking, what would you get?
It's a great question. I have a couple of bikes which would be my dream 2-bike garage, right? When you think about like what you'd love to see in your garage, and if I had these 2 bikes, I'd feel like I wouldn't need anything else. But I've always had a real soft spot for KTM's, right? And especially the SMC 690. Yeah, I think it's an R. It might be SMCR or something like that. Yeah. But that supermoto styling. Yeah. The massive engine that's in that thing with just a single pot, it makes an absolute racket, and it's just an absolute hooligan bike. Yeah. But I think they're big, and they are kind of a bit daunting to me, because big bikes. There's a lot of power for a single cylinder, thing in there. So they are definitely up there. If I can get my hands on one of those one day, I'll 100%
it's the kind of bike that one front tyre will last you forever, because it'll never be on the ground.
Well, no, you don't need to put it down. Exactly. Really. You don't need to. And then the second one for me really is Ducati, but it's got to be 848 Evo.
Oh, okay.
See, that is just, for me, like, that's one of my favourites for some reason. I don't know, it's probably partly that underseat exhaust situation, but also Ducati just used to have some really like curvy styling to them. The front end is amazing, even from the rear, just it's immaculate. The seats and everything is just fantastic.
The more recent ones are just more angular, aren't they? More modern look.
I think that they went really aggressive with their styling, whereas I feel like it wasn't aggressive or that aggressive before. And the aggressive thing is just sort of like, don't know, it doesn't really suit me so much. So the Ducati, and we saw one at the bike meet where at the end of May, and it was a beautiful white 848 Evo with red wheels, and that thing just looked fantastic. This thing looked awesome. We might put a link to that video up here as well, just so you can check it out and see that bike. And all of the other bikes that we saw there were awesome as well. Just like, there's so much to see there, and I could have spent like a couple of days there, to be honest, just going around sitting on bikes and stuff, I think it was fantastic.
Technology is great, isn't
What's
it?
This? Oh, that's your
phone.
That's
my phone.
Technology.
So what we going riding style?
Well, we haven't asked AD what his dream bike is yet.
If you could have any bike.
It would, I mean, there would be a few, but I think if I had to choose one, it would be the Honda RCV 213V. I
don't know what that bike is.
It's a MotoGP bike for the road, basically. It's a MotoGP bike with lights. It's Honda's equivalent. It's Honda's equivalent of. Do you remember when Ducati released the Desmos Adichie RR?
Yeah.
That you could buy for 100, couple of hundred. Something like that. It's Honda's equivalent.
Okay.
And I think the last time. There was one at the NEC bike show last year, and I think the guy there said it was about 150 grand.
My God.
That would be my dream. The sound. There's a few videos of it online on YouTube of it being ridden on track. I think somebody rode it at the Isle of Man TT as well. Not racing it, but just as like a parade lap. I think it was. I can't remember the name of the rider. It'll come to me. But the sound is just unreal. Absolutely unreal.
We'll put a video of that bike here and now.
What about you?
I've done my dream bikes. Harry.
Oh yeah.
I think have you done your dream bike?
No. So I'm still in like a few different minds. So I do like the Ducatis, but ultimately I think I've always as a kid wanted R1. So and I really like the 2010 sort of one with the bug eye sort of look. That's sort of I think I'd love to end up there one day having one of them, or an S1000 or Fireblade, something like that. But
I love how his dream bike is affordable.
Yeah, it's like it's like a couple of years away.
It's a realistic dream bike.
Is like, maybe if I won the lottery, and then there probably wouldn't be one for sale anywhere.
No,
but,
exactly. That's great.
So yeah.
But the 2010 R1, awesome.
Yeah, I love the look of it.
Yeah.
And that's the first year they did sort of, or 2009, I think it was the first year they went cross-plane, wasn't it?
Yeah. Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And they, do you remember, because I think it was 09 or 010, they did a version with a red, like a crimson frame.
Oh.
I think, white, but with a crimson frame.
Oh,
beautiful.
nice.
Yeah, really nice looking bike.
Oh, we're going to have to put more pictures up on the screen while those.
Yeah, so I think that's,
brilliant.
at the moment, that's the one that comes to mind as an R1.
Yeah.
Because as a kid, that's the one I knew about.
Oh, fantastic.
So the next one is riding style. So I got a feeling I know your answer. If you had to choose any riding style, it'd probably be track. But the three options we put is suggested was track, street, or sort of touring or off-roading. Or
well, I mean, to be honest, I cut my teeth off roading, so I'd always go back to do it. I'd love to do that again. I haven't done it in years. I'd love to go and do an off-road day, but yeah, it would have to be track style. I mean, I don't do track days purely because I don't have a track bike. You know, if I did have a track bike, I would.
If you got your £150,000 Honda, you might track it.
Yeah, maybe if I could have the track to myself and ride around very carefully with PPF on the fairings. I don't know, but yeah,
bubble wrapped.
But yeah, no track. I would like to do track days. And I'm a big MotoGP fan, so I love that style. And to be fair, I don't know if I should say this. Maybe I ride a little bit like that anyway. Yeah. But yeah, within reason. Yeah. Very, very safely.
A safer way.
Very safely. Yeah.
I don't think you have much of a riding style yet, do you?
I've tried to get the knee down, but on that thing is too scary. It's the wheels, I don't trust them.
Yeah, it's a bit too difficult to do anything too drastic on that bike. So
I've noticed I can turn right a lot sharper than I can turn left. So on the right, I've got paint marks on my rear tyre, and it's all gone on the right side. Left side is still there. I can't. I've tried. I've just got to get more practice. The trouble is, you go round a roundabout to the right, so I can leave. I get practice doing that. You can just keep going round, but left ways, you don't get many opportunities to practice as much.
You just have to go out late at night around roundabouts. Go the wrong way.
I think I found as well, left corners you can't see round as well, because you're on the left, you can't see round the corner. So I tend not to go as fast as when you're going around the right corner. You can see the exit a lot earlier. I think
unless
that's
it's quite an
something
open corner, or you're coming out of an open T-junction or something like that.
Yes. So I've seen clips of you on like a quiet roundabout going round and getting your knee down, and that's why I want to find somewhere like that safely, of course, within the limits.
I've always seen like I heard somebody talking about it where years ago I used to watch a motovlogger called M13, I think he was.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, he's based over in like Taiwan, I think. But his sort of like piece of advice was always, go the speed limits, but if you can take the corners at the speed limits, and that's like where a lot of skill comes from, because being able to take tight corners at 30 or 40 mile an hour can actually be just more of a skill than anyone can rag it down a straight. But if you're able to take it sensibly and you can actually control the bike really well through the corners, and that is a lot of skill there.
It's a good point, actually. And you don't have to be screaming well beyond the speed limit to have fun. And the best example of that, actually, although it relates to track, so I have been on track, but not a track day. So they don't do this anymore, and I'm gutted. It was called the Day of Champions at Silverstone. So each year for the MotoGP at Silverstone, what they used to do, this group called Two Wheels for Life, you buy a ticket from them, and it was the Thursday before the MotoGP weekend. So all the MotoGP teams were there, but there wasn't any GP bikes on track until the Friday. On the Thursday, you would meet up. I think the meeting point was like a cafe near Daventry, somewhere like that. And you would all ride as a big group down to another cafe near Silverstone. You get a free bacon butty, cup of tea, and then you ride into the Silverstone circuit as a group. And then so you basically go into the grounds of the circuit, and then the group sort of led us round the back by the medical centre by what's the name of the corner? It'll come to me. Anyway, by the medical centre, and with that particular ticket, you got 2 parade laps of the circuit.
Oh, nice.
But you had to stay behind the MotoGP pace cars. So obviously you weren't allowed to go in front of the cars, and it was parade laps, not racing laps.
Yeah.
So like the fastest I ever got up to, I think on the straight was about 85 mile an hour, because you had to stay behind the cars. But going back to your point, it just meant that you didn't really have to slow down all that much for the bends, so you could still have fun on the bends. It was amazing. Like, it was brilliant. It was probably it was one of the best biking experiences I've ever had, even though you couldn't, lay your hair down and cane it.
Yeah.
But it was brilliant. It's a really good point. And I think on the road, it's all about being smooth and flowing. And if you ever get the chance to do one of the advanced rider courses, like Bike Safe as a bare minimum, especially when they're run by the police riders, they are fantastic. Like, they don't go at 140 miles an hour, but they would outrun a lot of bikers purely because they're constantly making progress really, really smoothly. And similar to what you say, they don't necessarily slow down to 20 mile an hour for a bend, because they've already planned what they're going to do a long time before they get to that bend, as long as they can see it. And it's all about smooth progression,
it's about weight transfer and making sure that you're in the right place on the bike when you do the bend and everything like that.
And even using the whole of the road, and sometimes car drivers might see you moving over to the other side of the road and think that you're being a lunatic, but actually that's what the police do. They use as long as it's safe, of course, you can use the whole of the road that's available, because it increases your vision around the next corner or wherever you're trying to get to. But
I think that's quite a good thing the police have done there, because there's always been like a tension between police and bikers, or police and like car enthusiasts. But if they're trying to coach you, sort of, you can see both sides. They're just trying to do their job. They're also trying to keep you safe, and it's just, they're humans at the end of the day, and it's quite a good idea, I think, to go through a police course to improve your riding.
They're brilliant riders as well. They are brilliant riders.
Nice.
Right,
you want to ask that one?
So sure. So you've obviously done a few mods to your bike. You've done a fair few. So just talk us through about the sort of stuff that you've done to your bike so far.
Okay.
Like what you've done since you got it. What was actually the state of the bike when you got it?
It actually wasn't all that different. And the only things that I've done to the bike are cosmetic, really. Yeah. So I haven't done anything performance wise. The last bike I had a Power Commander. This bike doesn't, and I didn't want to fit one because it's pointless. I don't see that there's any point really, unless you get a full system fitted and you have to get it mapped and have a Power Commander that way. So basically the mods that I've done, trying to think from the front of the bike to the rear. So I upgraded the headlight bulbs to LED bulbs, just standard H7 LEDs. Make a huge difference. The grips, I always prefer Renthal race grips because they're nice and thin. Standard grips are a bit too thick. I don't really like the feel of them, so I changed the grips. Fitted the quad lock. Well, that's not really a mod, but fitted the quad lock. What else have I done? I've upgraded the brake discs to EBC wavy discs. The exhaust, the Leo Vinci exhaust that I've got. So when I got that bike, it had a GPR, so it's an Italian brand, full carbon sleeve exhaust. So I didn't need a new exhaust because that was fine and it sounded amazing. But a friend of mine, his friend used to have a CBR 1000, same as mine, and he had loads of stuff lying around in the garage and he was getting rid of it. And he offered me this exhaust for 50 quid. And I was like, I couldn't afford not to, right? So 50 quid for that end can, and it matches the bike a lot better. It matches the colour of the frame and all. So I've done that. I have upgraded the rear indicators, so they're really small and compact but quite bright. And I think that's about it, really. So all cosmetic.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So that rear hugger you added, that matches the...
Oh, yes, the rear hugger.
That looks amazing. Yeah.
I got that for free as well. I was really lucky. Yeah. So some guy on TikTok who used to have a 2011 Repsol blade, he was chatting, he came into the live once and he said, oh, I've got a rear hugger if you want it. I was like, a Repsol one. I was like, oh, how much do you want for it? But no, you can have it. Just come pick it up. I was like, no, come on, man, I'll give you... So I took him some beers, right? I gave him some beers. So he lived up in Birmingham, and I was heading up there anyway. So I said, yeah, okay. So he gave me that rear hugger, and it wasn't a direct fit, so I had to make a bit of a modification. But yeah, it looks so much better.
It does, yeah. It blends in. Yeah.
It's cracking in there. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant.
What's one mod that you would do to every bike you own, like in the future or in the past? Have you done one mod that's always the same?
Grips. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the most sensible answer would be set the suspension up, right?
Yeah.
So get the suspension set up for you. That can transform a bike. But if that goes without saying, I'd say grips. I really do love the thin race grips.
Yeah.
They're not the most comfortable in the world, but I just prefer them. I get so much more control and feel. So I'd say upgrade grips.
And it's not a mod that might impact your wallet so much as either.
No, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people think like one of the first things you do when you get a big 1000cc bike is you have to go get an exhaust to put on the thing. You have to go get some sort of Black Widow exhaust to put on your 125, or some like Akprovic system to put on.
I mean, I definitely agree that if it's got a standard exhaust, then change it, because the stock exhaust systems are just terrible. They look terrible, sound terrible,
and they're heavy as well. Often, aren't they? Really heavy.
Absolutely. Yeah. But you're right. You don't need to all of a sudden go and fit a full system that gives you an extra 15 brake horsepower.
Yeah.
But costs you $5,000.
Exactly.
Unless you want to, right? But that's fine. Each to their own.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think talking about like family members and their bikes, just again, like I don't think my dad's ever fitted an exhaust to a bike. He's always kept like a lot of standard stuff going on. His old Gixxer that came with a race pipe on it.
Right, yeah.
So it was.
Well, that's a benefit of buying. That's a benefit of buying a used bike, right? Because someone else has already spent a lot of money.
Oh, exactly.
Doing all of that stuff.
Come over with the sale of the bikes.
Exactly. Yeah. But interestingly, you mentioned about keeping the bike as standard. From what I know and from what I hear, most dealers, if you're part exchanging a bike, they prefer it standard.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend to anyone, whatever you upgrade on your bike, like keep the original parts.
Yeah.
Because when you'll probably get a little bit more in part X value if you put it back to standard.
Yeah.
So you were telling us earlier about an issue you had with your bike recently.
Oh,
I wondered if you'd just tell
So I've got a Heel Tech gear indicator, because the blade doesn't tell you the gear on the dash. So a Heel Tech gear indicator, which plugs into the OBD port under the seat, and as it says on the tin, it tells you what gear you're in, and I like that, and I'm used to it, and that's fine. So I was riding along the other day, and all of a sudden it stopped reading the gears. So it just had a single line dash in the centre. But that meant that obviously a signal was still going to the gear indicator, so it was still receiving a signal, it just wasn't reading gears. And I pulled over and I thought, what's going on there? Must be electrical. I took the seat off at the side of the road, had a look at the connection, all seemed fine. There was no bent pins, there was no snagged wires, and I was just a bit baffled. So I got back home and I thought, I need to look at the rest of the wire. So it was underneath the tank cover. Anyway, got the tank cover off and then realised that the cable was running underneath the airbox. So I was like, oh God, here we go. So I had to get I had to lift the tank up, prop it up. And you've got to be careful not to detach the breather pipes and the fuel pipes. Started to unscrew the airbox, and as the airbox came loose, I managed to get the cable out. So, and I'm taking my time, right? Because I didn't want to mess anything up and make anything worse. So I'm taking my time. This is probably should be about a 20-minute job. Took me an hour because I'm drinking coffee as well, and I like taking my time.
You rush, that's when mistakes happen.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. So I couldn't find any issue whatsoever, and I thought, well, it must be the gear indicator itself, because it's getting a signal, and where it reads the signal from, so it connects to the OBD port, which basically, so therefore it connects to the ECU, and obviously the ECU reads the RPM signal and your speed signal. Yeah. But my speedo and my speedo and my mind's gone blank. Rev counter was all working, right? So I thought there can't be a problem there, so it must be the gear indicator. So later on that night, I ordered a new one, put everything back together on the bike, ordered a new one, 110 quid. And then I went to bed, and then I lay awake. I couldn't get to sleep, not just because of that. I think I was struggling to sleep that night anyway, but I was laying in bed thinking about this, and 2:30 in the morning, I was like, I've got it. I've got it. I know exactly what the problem is. I'm a complete idiot. And I ran back downstairs. My missus was like, where are you going? I went, I've got it. I figured it out. And then ran back downstairs and got my torch out, and I was like, yeah, exactly that. So basically what the problem was, when you pull the clutch in, there is a clutch safety switch. The pin comes out when you pull the clutch in. Tells the bike, or tells the ECU, the clutch is pulled in. When you release the clutch, it pushes the pin back in, tells the ECU the bike's in gear. And because the gear indicator takes information from the ECU, the gear indicator thought that the clutch was permanently pulled in, which is why it wasn't registering any gears. So all I needed to do was just twist that little clutch safety switch so that the pin engaged. Jobs are good. So I cancelled the order like 8:59 the next morning. I'm like dialing the heel, cancel that order.
You managed to cancel it all right and everything. Yeah. Oh, brilliant! And
brilliant.
That's just it's like one of those issues where it keeps you up at night sometimes.
It does. What the hell? Yeah. It's annoying, isn't it?
It is. Absolutely.
You guys must have some as well, because the pit bike you've been doing is not the first project, right? You've done, or is that your first project?
This is our first project, yeah. Right, okay. So
you've got some stories from that.
Yeah, so we've done we bought the bike from a guy in Wales. It was just the engine, which he said was okay, and then a frame and wheels. That was about it. We paid £60 for that, so like great, a nice cheap thing for our first project. I got home, we took the head off the engine, and he had left the spark plug out and just left it in his shed, and water had got in. The cylinder was like stuck in there. It's all just rusted. I was like, oh, it's a working engine, is it? So I've had loads of stories of just fixing things, thinking we're finally there, but we finished it, and then suddenly there's an oil leak. Or like the wiring we had a bit of issue with. So you'd be like, it's not starting, and then you realise a wire's not quite got the sleeve on it properly where it's connected and it's touching the frame and shorting out. So over the course of 9 videos we've done, we found quite a lot of little things which we've learned along the way. So it's
frustrating. Sometimes it can be the littlest thing that caused the biggest problems. A friend of mine broke down on the motorway on his S1K, and it turned out that the problem was it was just a 5 amp fuse that blew. It was the indicator fuse. But because the indicator was on the main ignition loom, so it just blew the whole thing. And the previous what had happened was the previous owner had fitted aftermarket indicators, left one of the spade connectors bare, and it had just shorted against the frame underneath the rear seat. But yeah, and cut his ignition out completely. Bike was completely dead.
Yeah,
just because of a blown indicator.
Yeah, it's just either it wasn't poor design because it should have been just covered, but yeah, it's just that's again a rush, probably rushing to get it in to make it look nice, and then didn't pay attention to the details. One thing that sticks to mind with our bike was the front wheel axle.
Right.
It was. I'm not sure if the bearings were too small or the axle was too wide slightly, but it took a sledgehammer and half an hour to get it off.
And a heat gun.
So we ended up replacing it, but for a while when we were just trying to get it back together, it sat there just this can't be right.
I'm pretty sure that you took a heat gun to it to like try and melt it, basically, to a point like that we got to a point where it was ridiculous, wasn't it? We had we were clamping it either side, or we were clamping it and putting it up against things and trying to smash this bearing out. And you said the other day, you think that it was completely seized. It was like
it fell apart completely.
Did it not ruin the forks then when you were getting that out?
It could have contributed.
It could have.
They were leaking already, but it could have contributed. But we were sort of holding the bike and then just tapping the axle, but it just took so long.
Yeah. Did you swear much?
Oh, loads.
Max as well, because I was sat there hammering. He had to hold the front of the bike up. So you don't have we're still starting. We don't have like a table or anything to hold it on. So Max was holding the weight at the front of the bike up like that for 10 minutes at a time, going, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, it did wear my arms out a bit, and we did have Vinny come over at some point as well to help us get it out.
He's definitely the biggest of us. So.
Yeah. The amount of times we've taken that front wheel off though is, I'm surprised that we didn't get a front axle sooner to fix that, because as soon as we got that front axle, it was just like boom, straight in, bearings easy. And Harry said, there we go. I said, is that it? You're joking, are you? Like we usually need to get hammers and everything out to try and get those on.
I don't know what that axle was, if it's a slightly wrong one or if it had been warped or something, but yeah, it's just...
You're not going to want to ride it after all of this. You just want to have it as a display piece.
But there's a few things that we've sort of fixed temporarily as well, which that does bug me. So we ordered wheel spacings, and the biggest issue we had was it's a Chinese pit bike. It's not like I can Google Fireblade 2009 bearing. It's just pit bike bearing, and then there's so many different types, so we had a lot of issues of ordering parts. Send it back. So that was a massive issue, to be honest, but I'm excited to start this next project because it's a proper brand, it's got serial numbers. It'll be so much easier.
Well, I'm not going to comment on Chinese bikes.
No, you've received a ban before, haven't you? So.
Great bikes.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Typically speaking, you think, well, cameras versus phones, and you don't know which one to pick. I know that I struggled actually for quite some time when doing our first few episodes, because we've got that camera there just lying around, which is the one looking at you. I've had that lying around for quite a few years. It's one that I bought for my missus,
right? And
so I didn't know whether to use that, whether to use my phone, or what to do about it essentially. But eventually we did our first episode. We did that on the phone, and then I think most of the episodes since then, apart from the last one, the one where we finished the pit bike, that was done on the phone as well. And I just
what do you prefer? Do you prefer using the camera or the phone?
I much prefer using a camera.
Right. Okay.
I much prefer. I think that
we came to like an agreement, like the colours just look a bit more natural. The depth of field looks better because of the bigger sensor. I think you can just see more separation between things in the foreground and background. Whereas the phones are great for the size of the lens that they have. But they just can't quite get as much information in. That's what we've sort of seen.
They're fine. Like the phones are fine. There's nothing inherently wrong with the video that you get from the phone. And actually, if you're trying to capture a shot, by the way, with the phone is dead ahead up there, the one I'm pointing to right now. It's great for that kind of shot. Because you don't have to, because it's such a small sensor, you don't have to worry about what's in focus, especially from that distance. It's got like, it's going to have all of us in focus easily without a problem. Whereas you think like, if you're trying to use a camera like that one, it might start trying to hunt for focus somewhere in between. Sometimes it can do that. They're generally quite consistent, but they're not as snappy. Especially
see this is where I'm a complete noob. I've never used a camera like this. I've always just used my phone. I think the most technologically advanced that I've ever got is to buy a laptop and then use my phone as the webcam for the laptop using the software, what's it called, Camo or something like that. Something like that. But yeah, even that's a bit of a pain. Most of the time I'm just on the phone or the GoPro if I'm out riding. But I really know nothing about what you were saying about the depth perception of the lens
I think that
most
of the time, like now, you don't really, because my phone's quite old now, in terms of phones. Really, it's not the best. And so when you compare that one to this camera, and it's like, well, I'm not going to go buy a new phone just to do all of this. And so I just sort of made the decision to use the camera, and it's been good to use as well. And we have actually we've had issues with using the phone before. I mean, only audio. Really, wasn't it?
Integrating audio straight into a camera is easier than trying to do it to a phone, because modern phones don't have any inputs anymore. You've got to have dongles and adapters and camera which is designed for it. It works better, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to have a really good professional setup, but it's surprising though, isn't it, nowadays? You go back 10, 20 years and you would have to have some sort of decent camera, but nowadays you can have people who are world famous just from an iPhone.
100%.
Fantastic.
The cameras
they are in the same category nearly. They're just you can tell very slight differences and things like that, but they're up there where they're good enough to film feature films on now. There's so many films that have advertised as shot on iPhone or whatever.
I mean, have you seen the rigs that they use when they say
it's
that? They say it's not just an iPhone. They've got like an iPhone is just in the rig, and then around it it's like this big old cage, and they've got like mics and lights and mat boxes and everything set up on it. It's actually it's actually crazy. They've got that thing on life support. It's mad, but like they are good. They are good, and to be honest, like I think that should you just shoot your videos on an iPhone or something, no one's going to notice.
No, and the convenience as well, because you could have the editing software on the iPhone, the video straight on the iPhone. You're not worried about transferring footage from one device to the other, which can get a bit of a pain. And it's simple and it's easy.
Because you use CapCut, do you?
Yeah, CapCut. Yeah,
we started on CapCut, didn't we?
We did. Yeah. We started off using CapCut. I quite like editing on my laptop, so. Yeah, we started off using CapCut, and I've sort of I do most of the editing for our videos. I think you edit some TikToks and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's just.
But I decided to go and buy some editing software, DaVinci Resolve, and so that's.
I've heard of that. That's been recommended a few times when I've been doing a bit of research. Is it better than CapCut?
It's a hell of a learning curve.
Is it?
It's very much like blockbuster level video editing software. But you pay for a license. That's yours for life.
See, this is where, and that's what would trip me up a little bit, because, like I say, a bit of a learning curve. I'd been used to using CapCut on the phone. I then started to edit videos on the laptop using the the desktop version of CapCut.
Yeah.
My head nearly blew up. It's like, this looks completely different. Like, where was this function? Where do I do this? How do I do this? It was almost like a brand new bit of software. But it's once you get used to something and you become slick, and because the editing, and while we're on the topic of the building the YouTube and that, it takes a long time, doesn't it? The upload, editing, uploading, checking, choosing the right title,
I think
building the right description, keywords. It's just it's so much time and effort.
One of the most exhausting things for me, I think, for us possibly, is coming up with ideas and then actually putting those ideas into a plan and action and out that plan. It's not too bad when we've got a project on and we're working on something like the pit bike, but with the ER6N coming up, we're gonna have to build out some plans with what we do with that, and then we'll also have to come up with some different video ideas for what we do. Still, we will have the pit bike around, and we've got a big Notion page with just like loads of checkboxes, and I showed you the other day just like loads of things that we should do. I think for us, potentially like coming up with ideas is probably like one of the hardest things that I can think of doing. You put out loads more videos than we do. I think that you put out so many TikToks, and
I just flood. Somebody said to me a while back as well, actually, how do you build like a following? And to be honest, I'm still really small. Like on TikTok, it's about 7,500, which sounds a lot, but actually it's not. When you see a lot of people who have been doing it a year or two, they've got like 100k followers, 200k followers, but I don't really do it for the number of followers as such. But I think that what I started to do in the early days was just flood as much content as you can, especially on TikTok. You can make them like 10 seconds long, it doesn't matter really, as long as it's getting views and it's getting likes or whatever. And then the more you put out, the algorithms, I guess, the more likes you get, the more followers you get, it just starts building. And that's why I was saying that, like, it's easier to build a good following on TikTok than it is on YouTube. YouTube's flooded. I actually heard someone else talking about this. I can't remember who. In fact, it was Baron von Grumble, right? So he was saying that when he started, almost nobody was doing it, right? Doing what he did. And you used to have a few niche people who became influencers, but influencers was a very new thing, 10, 20 years ago. So it was very easy for one or two people to become really famous, but now everybody's doing it. Now you just one amongst millions of people doing it, so it's a lot harder nowadays.
I definitely feel that. There's a lot of people that I used to watch back in the day, and it was very rare to find them, wasn't it? Like you get your motovloggers, but honestly there was like select few people who were actually going out there and doing it. Nowadays, like you search motovlog, you'll find hundreds of accounts that do motovlogs and stuff like that. So it's really difficult to find some way to sort of stand out and do what
it is
like a niche.
It's just the whole of YouTube in general, like not just motorbikes, but every single category is just flooded now. There used to be, I think someone says like 100 hours a minute is uploaded to YouTube. And
another thing that was said, and again I don't take credit for this, someone was saying that YouTube used to be a platform where the average person could put out some content, but now it's yes, that's huge, and the market's flooded that side of it. But there's so many big organisations and big companies and celebrities now also using YouTube, which can sort of drown out the average person, the average people like us, just trying to put stuff out there. So it's
100%. And you noticed now that a lot of the people who have like a mega following on YouTube, the quality of their content is something that us creators who are kind of just starting out is so hard to even get close to anything like that. And I do think there is something special about having some kind of like like us doing some amateur content. It's something like I actually think that's something quite special about that. It's 100% relatable.
You don't have a team of cameramen.
No, exactly. There's no team. It's just us. We're trying to figure it out, and sometimes we make mistakes, and it's not. Sometimes it's funny, and sometimes it bloody hurts your heart. You're like, oh no, I can't believe that just happened. And so I think that I quite enjoy making the content regardless, really. I think we quite enjoy making it, don't we? And, it looks like you love riding your bike around, especially if you do more rides to Germany. Which you said you absolutely love doing that. It's so
amazing, and I was surprised. What surprised me the most was how many people were following the little quick updates that I was doing on my phone. So that inspired me then to do more moto vlogs, especially when I got back and I edited all that footage into 4 riding videos that I made. It blew the channel up, really. I think I went from, prior to that Germany trip, I had about 130 subscribers. I've now got 470, which again still is a very, very small number. But that increase in 2 weeks was completely unexpected.
I think that's great for YouTube. That is actually great. Like getting subscribers on YouTube, getting people to watch YouTube videos and actually watch it for a good amount of time is hard.
Exactly. You never know if people are actually sitting through the whole thing. And to be honest, I have to say this actually, because if not, she'll remind me. So my Mrs. Haley, it was her idea to break it down into 4 separate videos, one for each day, because I was just going to make 1 hour-long video of the whole thing, and she says, no, people probably won't sit for an hour on YouTube and watch it. Maybe not. So I have to give credit to her. So there you go, Haley. You've got to mention. You got credit. I've got to be in the good books for that. So breaking it down into 4 videos, and with the moto vlogs that I've been doing since, I've been trying to keep them to about 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes, which I think is reasonable.
That's good.
It's somebody can watch that in the lunch hour, can't they? 20 minutes.
But in terms of speaking of like drop off, we've recently looked at like our videos analytics, and you can see 100%, and then after even a few seconds, there's people just clicking off. And it's just because like, oh, that's not what I thought it was. It's stuff like that. It's just it's surprising to see like the drop, and then some people stay for the whole thing. But it's just it's interesting like how and people say it's TikTok brain, but it's just we're used to refreshing short videos and seeing, and then you see a long video, they tend to skip it. So the short, if you're doing, some people love long videos, but most people, I think 10 to 20 minutes.
I was going to say there is an audience out there for long form videos.
Absolutely.
Like 100%. Like for someone like me, when I'm working, as an example, when I'm working from home, if I can put on like an hour-long video, I'm actually looking through YouTube for long videos like that, because I'm working and I just want something in the background. Like, so I think it's definitely good to add some value to the content by kind of editing it and chopping it up where you can, and putting it into bite-sized chunks for people who don't have loads of time. But I think what we might be doing in the future is uploading more longer videos, and which accompany shorter videos as well.
Splitting it between, because we've got a second channel already, similar to you. We're thinking of putting like this podcast, for example, thinking of putting an edited version on our main channel, but the whole unedited version on the second channel. So if people want to, they can go over there and watch
it's a good idea. And there's little tricks as well that I'm very recently learned. So I figured out that sometimes the first, say, 10 seconds of the video should be almost like a taster of what's to come. Then you do the opening credits, if you will.
Exactly.
So it grabbed, and people are, I'm going to wait and see that, and then things like the description, like I said, with high value keywords, which will help the search engine stuff. The title and the picture needs to be catchy, I guess, to get people's attention in the first place. So it's a lot. There's a lot into it, but I'm slowly learning a few tricks.
What's so you've obviously done loads of different types of videos. You do stuff from motovlogs. You've got kind of like interviews with other people through your heartbeats and horsepower, and you do. There's a lot of like there's bike meets in there, and all this kinds of stuff. What are your kind of what at the moment, anyways? So what are your favourite videos to make?
I'd say at the moment my favourite is the motovlogs.
Yeah.
I tried a couple of motovlogs a while back. Did a couple of them. Wasn't really sure, and I wasn't sure if like people were actually bloody interested. Like, who wants to listen to this? But I think, like I say, since the Germany trip, a lot of people are interested. So it inspires me to do more and to try and make them more interesting as well. Because even though like it's when I'm doing that, like this is me, like that's what you see is what you get. But it's still there's an element of performance in there as well because you want to make it interesting. So I'd say that's my favourite, but I really enjoy conversational stuff. I love this stuff as well.
Yeah.
I would love to do more of this.
Yeah.
I love listening to watching podcasts on YouTube. Are they even still called podcasts? Because podcasts used to be an audio thing, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think
it's just a generic term.
Yeah.
Is it?
Very long form conversation podcast.
Okay. I didn't know either. Actually, I had no idea. But yeah,
I love this sort of stuff. I would love to do more and more. Long-ish sort of conversations. I find it really interesting.
Yeah, we've definitely talked about doing more and more stuff like this as well. It's definitely another aspect that we want to add into.
It's just something different for people who like our channel. We don't just want to be always crammed in my shed saying, look, this is broken again. Do different things. Give them something else to watch.
Another crack in the head. Oh, here we go.
Exactly. Exactly. So obviously you've got your favourite videos, but are there any types of videos which you found that were your hardest to make?
Yes, I would say how-to videos.
Right.
Because there's always going to be somebody that says, actually, no, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. And that's not to say that I'm right, they're wrong, vice versa. But we live in an age now where everybody's got an opinion, and everybody's got the ability to share their opinion with millions of people at their fingertips, right? So I did, for example, a couple of how-to videos. I did the oil change on my bike. I did, although not necessarily a how-to video, but I did some top tips a while back now for especially for newer riders, like what to look out for, what service items to do. But I find those the hardest because I feel as though I'm okay at explaining something, but then I start second guessing myself, thinking, have I missed that? And that thing that I've missed, is that the first thing somebody's going to comment on, saying, what about this? Have you missed this? So it's almost like this anxiety trip to try and cover everything that you think someone else is going to mention anyway, and then also to make it, again, still interesting, but also simple enough that someone else can follow. So I'd say that is the hardest thing, really.
I'm really surprised that we haven't got somebody come up in our comments going, what the are you doing?
Because we always sort of envisioned our channel to be 3D idiots trying to fix something. And I always preference that, and like, this is how a camshaft works to my understanding. So I don't want to claim to be an expert, because none of us really know what we're doing. I've learned all I've learned over the last 10 years for YouTube and just seeing how engines work and things. So I'm just sort of repeating what I gathered is the right information. So you can always look at Haynes' manual, or if you want to look at something and learn exactly what is going on. But we're just sort of saying this is a brief overview. And we're trying to sort of not put ourselves in it as this is right. Because there will be people out there
criticise and question. And so with your channel, then you say you got this second channel as well. So what's your aspirations for? What would you want it to become?
So it started with Vinny, actually, because he said, I really want to do like restoration videos. He really wanted to like just get it, he's seen it on YouTube and said it gets loads of views, and it's something he's interested in, just getting a tool. It's all rusted, you polish it up and make it look nice again, and he says satisfying. And I said, I'm not really into that sort of thing, but I wouldn't mind restoring bikes. And then I said, my friend Max really likes editing videos and filming stuff, so why don't we get him? And that's the birth of the channel. But in terms of where we wanted to go, it was sort of initially, let's start with a small bike, work our way up, keep selling bikes and buying the next broken one, and then eventually move on to some cars. That would be great. For me personally, the dream would be to have a motorbike workshop where we fix and sell bikes, and then a cafe for bikers to hang out. That would be me happy for life.
Make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. That would be perfect.
Absolutely awesome, wouldn't it? I just think, like, of all the things we could do, that is probably that's right up there, isn't it? It's got to be right up there. It's like, it'd have to be on a nice driving road, though. Yeah, you got to have it on a nice route, like maybe
location's important.
Somewhere in Wales, you know, Racket in Wales. As soon as they remove that 20-mile-per-hour speed limit, and that'd be fantastic.
It would. Really would.
Yeah, where do you see the future of your channel? Where do you see things going? I
don't know. I'm just going with the flow. When I first started the TikTok stuff, doing TikTok lives, and I think I alluded to this earlier. So I was joining other people's lives, not necessarily just bike stuff, but I was joining other people's lives. I was relatively new to TikTok. I'd been flicking through videos, wasting my life like most people do anyway. Just but I'd never really engaged with it. Started joining people's lives, and what I found was there was this really, really clear atmosphere of adversity, right? So everybody had an opinion that was the complete opposite to everyone else's, and nobody would listen, and nobody would give in, and it was so polarizing, whatever the topic was. And then I started flicking onto some motorcycle specific lives, and people were giving really bad advice. Like somebody would ask a question, and the question might be, I don't know, is a Yamaha YZF 125 a good starter bike? And the person running the live would say, no, absolutely not. Don't ever buy that. You need to buy this. And I'd be like, that's not advice. That's your opinion, right?
Yes.
And it was like that. And I thought, no, I can do better than that. So a friend of mine who I used to join his lives, again, nothing to do with bikes, he encouraged me to do it, and I was like, I don't know, it's a bit niche. I didn't realise there was so much of a bike talk out there on TikTok. And eventually I did, and it sort of started from there, really. And I just try and give balanced advice. But that's where it all started, I guess.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, because that's how I found you, was the lives. I was scrolling through TikTok. I was about to play some Rocket League with Max, and I found yours, so I put it on the computer so I could listen. I was actually really good. He was giving good advice, and I was about to do my CBT.
That's
so I was
right.
Any tips? Because I was nervous. And then I found out you only live about 30-40 minutes away. I was like, oh, no way. So
it's brilliant for that as well. Like, I've met so many people now since doing this, and the bike meet in May was awesome. Got the next one coming up as well. 6th of September.
We will be there.
We will be there, both of us.
Superbike Factory, Donington Park, 6th of September. Be there.
It was a great time last time, and we just. I'm really excited to be going again, actually, as well.
Brilliant.
Hopefully we can stay a bit longer next time as well.
No, it would be nice to be able to stay a bit longer, be able to I
don't think I'll be bringing my bike again just because of how far it is on a 125, but
it's a bit of a trek, isn't it? It is a bit of a trek for
and if I'm coming as well,
I can't put you on the back.
Not yet.
No, that is actually a plan though, because Max can't drive, and like people say, oh, I'll never take a man on the back of my bike, but I'm happy to do it because Max, I want Max to feel like he can experience an R1 on the road or a Fireblade or something, and just we could go for long bike roads, we go camping somewhere or go on holiday and just annoy the wives by disappearing for a week.
I think they'll be pretty pleased with that.
So I can't. That's another really big factor for me, is I really want to get my license get some experience on a big bike, and I can say like, Max, come on, let's go rip it around some A road somewhere.
And maybe even a trip to Europe. I definitely recommend.
Yes,
if you ever get the chance, when you ever get the chance.
And I've seen from your videos, like, it's so much cheaper on a bike. The ferry's like 25 quid or something to get to France. It's just everything's so cheap. So that is a big driving force for me in terms of, that was a bit of a sideways jolt. I apologise, but
no, it's all good. It's all good.
So we sort of talked about interactions with your audience. So I think I'll move on to the other prompt we got, which is, what equipment do you use to help film, or what's the most useful bit or exciting bit of equipment you've got for filming?
I use my iPhone or my GoPro and a microphone. I've got some DJI mini mics when I'm doing static stuff. And then I've got the lav mic that fits inside the helmet. And that's it. That's all the equipment I use. I did, like I say, experiment a little bit with the laptop, and then using the phone as the webcam for the laptop, recording that way. And in fact, that's how I did the podcast with Annabelle McCarthy. Did you ever see?
Yes, I did watch that one. Yeah, that was a really good episode.
Yeah, so I did that with that was with the laptop and the phone. But yeah, that's it. So really, really basic. Really basic.
Yeah, but it works.
I wouldn't know how to use anything else, to be fair. Like one of these cameras, like I'd be stumped.
No, well, that's what YouTube's for, I think.
Exactly.
If you want afterwards, I can always show you what the sort of stuff that we do. But honestly, it's not going to be a massive difference to what you do already. But it might just help you, because I've done a lot of work with cameras. And just kind of like the inner workings of them. Oh, sorry. I didn't see that there. You were. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, and just the inner workings of it. And one of the best things that I got actually was that mic up there. It's on top of that camera.
Oh, okay,
So that's a shotgun mic, and just plugs into the camera. And because it's got the fluffy sort of wind muff on it, you can take that thing out in like really high winds, and you won't get any wind noise at all. It will like block everything, and you'll still be able to hear yourself really clearly. It's a really nice mic, that one, and they're not too expensive. They're about, I think I got that for about 30 quid.
That's
on Amazon,
that's
and
reasonable.
It's not a Temu special. It's it is an Amazon special, but the brand's well known. So
I think what helped us as well is we both met at college. We both did like an audio production sort of course. So we learned quite a lot about audio editing and production and microphones and how to record properly and things like that. So that's helped us a bit in our journey, but it's just mainly we want the video to look good. So
definitely we're no stranger to like editing programs. I think that going from like audio production programs over to editing software was not a massive jump for us.
Laid out in a similar way,
and it's worth it, isn't it? It's worth using really good professional software with really good equipment, because if you can get to a stage where the end result is, sort of production worthy and stands out, then so it's worth it, isn't it?
100%. I think it's great. The only other thing I would love to do is I honestly think though that if I were to upgrade my phone and go for like the newest iPhone or whatever it is, I would probably switch from the camera, most likely.
That's the bit where they're right up against each other, these two, aren't they? So
they are like,
if you've got a new camera, that would probably go above the iPhone again. If you've got the latest Sony or
100%.
The value of the latest Sony is just crazy.
they're cracking. Like Sony cameras are great. I mean, we use a Lumix, and I do really like the footage that comes out of a Lumix. But Sony are just they're there for their
Sony are really good for their autofocus.
They're very, very good for their autofocus. It's snappy like crazy.
They're really suited to video, I think.
They are.
Compared to like, you get Nikon and stuff, but I think they're more focused on photos, aren't they?
I have heard recently that some of the Lumix cameras are very video focused as well, and I wonder what some of their newer offerings would be like actually as well. So that's something to keep an eye on. if we ever need to upgrade that. Right.
If we get some money.
If we get some money from somewhere, it'd be nice to upgrade some of the kit, although it does all right.
Continue to build the channel and then employ somebody to operate the camera for you as well.
Yeah, we probably will need to do that as quite far down the line, but at the moment I quite like operating the camera, even though it's sometimes a guessing game. Have I got you in shot? I trust the camera. I'm sure it's fine. Right. So, moving on from the whole YouTube stuff, obviously, some of your favourite rides were in Germany and going through Europe as well, which obviously you captured those and popped those on YouTube. Were there any other rides that you've been on in the past which you'd put up there as like your top 2 or top 3 rides that you've ever been on?
I really, really enjoy where we live, the general area, because I think we're really lucky that we've got so many really good riding routes around this area, whether it be through Gloucestershire, the Cotswolds, South Wiltshire, and so I think my favourite places to ride, other than the big trips, is just around this area, because it's fantastic. And then because it's local, you get to know the roads really well. You know what's coming around the next corner, you know how tight the next corner is, you know where you can open it up a little bit. So I really love that because of the familiarity of it and the quality of some of the routes that we've got around here, to be fair. But nothing beats the B500 in Germany. Nothing that I've ever done. And I lived in Germany for 10 years and I never rode the B500 while I was there. I don't think I even knew about it. Even though I of those 10 years, I was probably a biker on the road for about 6 of them. And I didn't even know it existed. There's so many things I look back now and I probably took for granted of living in Germany. But it's a different world out there. It is amazing.
For those who don't know, we do live in like a very rural southwest part of England. So there's a lot of farmlands. You go out 5 minutes out of any town you're in the middle of nowhere. So the roads are just lovely. Got views all the time. All the roads sort of are winding through woodlands, and it's lovely.
We are lucky. We are really, really lucky.
What's the one route that's up in Scotland? The NC 500. You ever considered doing that?
The one thing that puts me off, and this is going to sound really ignorant almost, is the weather.
Okay, that's true.
Like if you could plan it for like a nice day, then I'd do it. But going all of that way, my worry or what my reservation is going all that way, and then it's a gamble with the weather, and then you think, oh God, the weather's bad, and you don't necessarily enjoy it as much. But having said that, on the doorstep we've got Wales as well. There's some amazing roads in Wales.
There are some fantastic routes around there, and I don't know if this bit's going to go in the video. I have a friend who built a web app for sharing driving routes. So it's because he drives quite nice. He has a quite nice car. But he loves to take that thing on nice drives around the place. So he built a thing. It's in Google. You can just search "Find a Drive," and there's it's a community hub basically where you can log in. You can set points on a map, and then share that with anybody else. And you can look up nice drives in your area or wherever you want to go. So that's worth a mention.
That's really good. There is one specific to bikes as well, but I think you have to subscribe to Kalimoto. Have you heard of it? So I think there's a free version of Kalimoto that you can get, but then I think the paid version is one where you get access to everyone else's routes that they've uploaded. But it's all specific to bikes as well. So I think it's a great idea, isn't it?
I've heard one on TikTok at the moment going around. I think it's called is it called Deutsch or something like that? It sounds like it's a German name for an app, but it is specific to I can't remember. I might have absolutely murdered that name, but it's it definitely began with a D. I remember that. But yeah, that one's definitely specific to bikes. I've seen it a few times mentioned on TikTok.
Right,
so it's probably another thing too we could all check out.
The only one I've seen is not like you necessarily say you look up other people's routes, but it's like a automated one. So you say, I live here, I want to head north and I want to do a round trip that's about half an hour, and it'll plan one for you.
Okay.
And it might not necessarily target the nicest roads, I don't know how it works, but it does make a route for you, so you can go try explore somewhere different. Next week you say I want to go south and then do a round trip. So yes, stuff like that, just to get you out and about more on the bike, because sometimes you're like, where am I going to go? Because sometimes I go out in the evenings when the kids are asleep and I'm like, I want to go somewhere different, but I don't know where to go. So things like that could help. Yeah.
Definitely. Do you have any bucket list trips? Like places, like journeys that you want to do in the future?
I don't think so. Well, actually, no, I do. I would love to go and do, let's say, Mugello, MotoGP in Mugello.
We raced that on a MotoGP.
Yeah.
It's our favourite one.
But I'd love to go there, and I mean, I've been to MotoGP races and World Superbike races before, but I'd love to sort of tie it in where you go to a nice warm European MotoGP weekend, but then after that do a track day there as well at the same time. That's probably a bucket list. I mean, if there's any tracks in the world that I'd like to ride on properly, do a proper track day, Silverstone definitely. I love Silverstone. It's such a long track, quite technical, but Mugello. I'd love to ride on Mugello.
That's again the one we did on MotoGP 24. We would do that, and then we go to another track. We were like, nah, it's not as good. We go back to Mugello again.
And it's funny, actually. That's the track that the Grand Tour were on in their first season when they were doing the supercars. They were Mugello. So it's crazy. I was thinking, I've literally ridden that track in MotoGP.
So I know you do predominantly like solo riding, and I know you say you're a bit wary of doing group rides. I know you go with your friends, but you're a bit reluctant to do it with like a big group like at the bike meet, and I understand why, but can you just give us more insight to that? So
there's four of us that have been riding together regularly for a couple of years, and we did the European trip last year. Unfortunately, only three of us went this year, so we all know how each other rides. We all trust how each other rides. I know that as soon as we got onto a dual carriageway, for example, I know, give it a minute and Mark's going to come flying past, because he likes that sort of stuff. We know that if Paul's leading, he will spot a hazard, and if Paul slows down, you need to slow down. Like, do you see what I mean? So we all know how each other rides, and then when you start adding new people to that, it's not that you shouldn't trust anyone or that no one else would be, able to sort of ride that way, but it's just a risk. It's just an unknown, and you just never know if. And then you start adding a few more people. You never know, is somebody going to come past and try and do a wheelie at the wrong time? Is somebody going to get overexcited and try and race? And so I'm always wary of bigger groups. But the other main reason of bigger groups is the bigger the group, the slower you have to go. And if you're doing a decent distance, so if you're doing a ride of an hour, but if you're in a big group and there's loads of different bikes, you probably have to stick at 40 mile an hour to cater for some of the smaller bikes, which there's nothing wrong with doing that. If that's what the plan is and that's what's been organised, it's fine. So I'm not against that at all, except for the fact that an hour at 40 mile an hour on a sports bike is really, really uncomfortable. Really uncomfortable. Because when you're getting a bit of a lick on a sports bike, you've got the wind against you, which is helping you up. You're moving around a lot. But at 40 mile an hour, you're sat in one position, and then you're like, oh god, my wrists are killing me now. And there's only so long that you can hold on with your legs and your core before you have to. So it's so tiring.
I guess part of it as well is like, if you've organised the bike meet and then go out for a ride, if something happens, you might feel partly responsible because it's your meet.
Absolutely. And this is why at the last bike meet in May, and the same for this one, this is why, because a couple of people have said to me, is there a ride out? No, not really, because I would just feel responsible, even though everyone's responsible for themselves, but still I would feel some level of responsibility if something went wrong.
Yeah. I completely get that. That's fair.
Have you been on any big group rides?
No. The only person I've ridden with is my dad, and we go out occasionally and we swap bikes just to see what it's like. And we've done that, and I enjoy that. And you can see the hazards of riding with other people, just saying like, oh, you got to stay back, and you're not sure quite where they're going to take up the road, or how fast they take corners. You got to learn it all. But I can imagine being in a big group, it can be a bit daunting. Yeah, especially if you don't know them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm gonna skip ahead ever so slightly.
Sure.
And just move on to if just talking about any close calls. Basically, have you had any close calls whilst riding your bike? I imagine you have. Yeah. And as everybody does when riding, obviously, would you care to share any?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I've had 3 accidents on the road, and they were all my fault. But close call specifically, the last close call that I had, I was riding with my friend Paul, and we were riding this sort of twisty road, and some of the bends were blind, and he was in front. I dropped back a little bit. He created a bit of a gap, and then he disappeared around this bend, and then I sort of came around this bend. We were doing a relatively decent pace, let's say, and then all of a sudden I got around the bend and noticed that he'd almost come to a stop, and so had the cars in front. Yeah. So I immediately put the brakes on, back brake as well, as you would do in an emergency stop. Didn't have time to stop before I was going to hit him. So my first reaction was, where am I going to go? Yeah. Spotted my escape route because there was nothing coming, luckily, in the other lane. But I'd already planned. It was a solid white line as well. Yeah. So I'd already planned I would put my wheels in between those 2 solid white lines. So at least I've got a chance of getting between traffic. So I'm heading for the white lines. I'm still braking really heavily. I let go of the front a little bit because I don't want my front to bin it on the lines. Yeah. I'm keeping the back brake on, but then the rear tyre loses traction. And now I'm sideways, opposite lock, on the other side of the road. And this like skid for about 3 car lengths. But I'd already spotted a gap about 5 cars lengths up. It's amazing how much you analyse what's going on at the time. And I pulled into that gap, and it was like, what are you worried about? You know, it was like,
that was all planned.
It was, and I remember pulling into this gap, and I just laughed inside my helmet, really, really loud. And I think that was part of an adrenaline dump as well.
I made it.
And I was like, I was like, that was awesome. You know. But it was that's the most recent close call. I think that was about, I don't know, that was this year actually. So that was probably about 4 or 5 months ago.
Right.
So,
It makes you feel like, when those things happen, it's like flipping heck, it's hot in here. Like bloody suit is boiling.
And then also, like, part of you thinks, I survived that. I'm all right. I got through it. I got some skills. It's like, you completely dismiss pure luck and chance, you know. It's like, I manage that.
100%. Have you had anything, Harry?
The only one I had was a bit of target fixation when I was out with my dad once. We go around a corner. I was close to the white line in the middle. I saw a car coming around, and I looked at the car rather than the thing, and I got way too close. Luckily, my dad did see behind. It was just like, that was it. I haven't gone crazy yet, so
it's so easily done, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
so easily done.
And you're like, and then you go around the corner, you're like at the speed limit around the corner, and then it tightens up. I've had that a few times. You're like, no. But other than that, it's not been too bad so far.
Those close calls are really, they can shake you up sometimes. I think others, they might give you a little bit too much confidence. Maybe.
Yeah.
But
the trick is to learn from them, right?
Oh,
so the
100%.
trick is like to, and I actually, a bit of advice that somebody gave me years ago, and this, I forgot about this completely, it's come to me, is never make the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
Like if you make a mistake, learn from it, make sure you don't do that again.
Yeah.
You know, but as simple as it sounds, but yeah.
No, this is great.
That's also why you should, like, I'm not going to tell everyone to start on a 125. You could start on a slightly bigger bike, but learning how to make mistakes on a 125, like I've had the rear tyre come out a few times, but that's not going to do anything on a 125 really. I was going slow enough. You haven't got enough power to accidentally put too much around a corner. So you can sort of work your way up to handling 200 horsepower at the rear wheel. So it gives you a chance to learn from your mistakes without them being too catastrophic.
And it's like a couple of people have said to me in the recent past, like they've said, like I've had an accident, how do I rebuild my confidence? And I always say the first thing is to figure out, okay, what happened? Why did that accident happen? Because if you can break it down and say, well, actually, it happened because I did this, I did that, and I did this, or I didn't do this, then you know what to do next time or what to avoid next time. And it sounds like it's oversimplifying it, but it doesn't need to be any more complicated than that.
It could be like easy to blame, that person pulled out, but you might have been right tucked up to the hedge, going too fast, making it so hard to see you. So there's always something you could do.
An advanced driving course once, and one of the first things they said was every accident is avoidable.
Yeah.
And I was the guy there who was like, well, is it really? But sometimes a car comes out all of a sudden. Yeah. And he says, that's the mistake. You're using the language all of a sudden. Nothing should ever be all of a sudden. No. Because you should be planning and avoiding, and so you should be predicting it anyway. Yeah. You know, you're heading down a road and there's a T-junction. There should be no such thing as a car coming out all of a sudden, because all of a sudden means you didn't
think they were going to do it.
Ahead, you know. So it's really, really interesting way of looking at it, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely.
Quick fire round.
Quick fire. It's more just like random things I didn't know would fit anywhere else.
Sure.
So, favourite.
I'm just reading the questions. They're quite interesting, actually.
Favourite bike movie.
Bike movie. I'll have to come back to that one. I can't think.
I think me and Max are going to have the same answer.
I'm trying to think of bike movies.
Tron.
That's
probably what got me into like bikes partially as a kid. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
They are awesome.
They are,
That movie's so cool.
Yeah, like I never saw the original because I want to, but I've saw Tron Legacy, and a lot of people don't like it that much for some reason. I love it. I think it's an amazing film.
Actually, it's not necessarily it's not a fictional movie, but it is a film, and it was the Faster series, narrated by Ewan McGregor.
Oh, okay.
So it was all about the MotoGP.
Oh, nice.
I think there hasn't been one for years now, but back in the day, I think the early 2000s, and then I think two or three subsequent years after that, they made a movie about, a documentary movie about the MotoGP.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
What would you say, Tron as well, or have you got something else you've also like?
I'm trying to think of other stuff and it's not coming up. I don't really know.
Because some people class Top Gun as a bike movie because he rides a bike in it.
It's not really.
I never really watched Top Gun. I think when I watched Tron, I was looking at it like,
Tron blew my mind.
Bikes are so cool.
Yeah.
I was a kid when that movie came out, but it's really cool.
What year did that come out?
I'll quickly Google it. Hold on.
Because I remember Tron, but I'm thinking of the original version.
We're thinking of one that's like probably 2011. I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah.
That's my guess anyway.
I haven't seen it actually.
You haven't.
2010.
Oh, I was nearly there.
Yeah, so it's on Disney.
Oh yeah. I remember. I vaguely remember the first one. Yeah. But I'm going back to 80s.
Yeah, it's a good movie, that one. I did enjoy it. There's a nice I don't know what bike he rides in the beginning.
It's a Ducati naked bike, isn't it?
It is Ducati, so it's probably a Monster then. Yeah, probably Ducati Monster. He rides around in the beginning, and then they go into the simulation and they ride the
he's like, oh, I got this.
crazy bikes. Yeah,
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah,
definitely worth it.
What's the worst riding habit you'll admit to?
Well, we know he doesn't speed.
Yeah, that never happens.
Getting angry.
Just road rage.
Getting angry with other drivers. Yeah. That's my worst habit.
Like, that's everybody gets that. I swear.
But
I get angry when people cut my missus up driving, and I'm not even the one driving.
but the thing is, and I can sit here and rationalise any situation like that, and it doesn't help anyone to get angry. In fact, you're worse off for getting angry anyway.
Yeah.
B, it can inflame the situation and make it worse. And then being on the bike, especially nowadays with dash cams and all sorts, it's just it could end up. Yeah, it's not worth it. But I really struggle. I must admit, I struggle. I do really get angry, especially with middle lane hoggers.
I saw one of your motovlogs recently, and you were like, he was like not letting you pass, and then he was giving all that, and you're like, you're on camera.
I'm the bad guy apparently, because they're like sat in the right hand lane. It's like
mad.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah.
We already covered whether riding with others. That's like group rides basically, so that's all good. But so in terms of, I mean, we see every so often in your videos the background of the room that you're in when you're filming, and there's often, what is there, like a couple of bike suits up there, a number of helmets,
couple of helmets stuff. You've got my helmet, the helmet that I bought for Hayley years ago that she doesn't use anymore, couple of pairs of bike boots, couple of pairs of gloves, some old knee sliders, and that's it really. I don't really tend to keep old stuff for a very, very long time. Sure. I'd rather sell it and get rid of it. Otherwise it just takes up space.
Yeah, that's fair.
You can do with old helmets as well if you don't want to like sell it. Some people don't like buying them. You can donate them to like is it the police or firefighters, and they can like do crash testing on it and stuff.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
They do training with it. Yeah, so it's ways to get rid of it.
I still own too much more than I need, but I don't. I tend not to hoard.
It's nice to have a backup.
Although I would love, sometimes you see moto vloggers or people who do sort of more professional stuff. They've got like a wall of helmets behind them, of helmets they've always owned, and I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That camera's just turned off. Bastard. So, one of the last actual questions we have here is, if you could ride with any, like, I'm thinking like famous motorcyclists from there, like GP riders, we're talking tour, like people who do like touring and all that sort of stuff. If you could ride with any of them from the past, whether they're still here or not, who would you ride with?
I'm going to say, and it's really difficult to choose between Valentino Rossi and Marc Marquez.
Yeah.
Because I'd always been a Rossi fan, and many Rossi fans are the opposite of Marquez fans. But I'm a Marquez fan as well. So either one of those really. They're the best in the world. For me, they're the two GOATs. Yeah. I'd love to ride with them.
By you?
I'd have to say Guy Martin, I think.
That's a good one.
Such a personality. Yeah. He's done quite a lot of stuff. Yeah. He never won a TT, but he came so close, and he was just he's a legend in my opinion.
And you'd have a right laugh with him as well.
You would,
he's just guaranteed.
You'd definitely talk your ear off.
Brilliant,
fantastic. Well,
what about you?
For me,
if you could meet any motorcyclist.
Oh man. Actually, Guy Martin is up there. He's definitely one. I think he's one of the first people I actually sort of like knew about his name from the Isle of Man TT sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other people, but really, I was never into bike racing that much as a kid. Didn't really follow it growing up, so I'm gonna say Guy Martin just to copy you, and and just to sort of like, so like that's it really. So AD, it's been fantastic having you on. Thank you so much for coming over, and loads of laughs, a lot of insight as well, lots of advice for everybody out there as well. So yeah, thanks very much again. We'll leave a link to AD's channel down in our description, and there will be more content over on AD's channel as well for you guys to check out. Thanks very much for watching.
And fingers
Thank you guys. Yeah, much
we'll
appreciated.
Be doing this again. So
let's do it. Let's do more of it. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah.
Perfect.